welcome back to my YouTube channel. This plant is just gonna be in my face the whole time, so we're gonna have to get over that. I know I promised a new video every week during the summer, but I was busy enjoying life and I don't know what to tell you. It's now almost the end of August, so it's well past mid-year and probably well past the decent time for me to be uploading this. But to be fair, I recorded all the answers, wrote down all the answers to the tag during the mid-year, more approximately. So it is honest. I'm not really challenging myself. I'm not going to be upset if I don't read 52 books, but at the mid-year mark, I have read 39 out of 52 books, so I'm doing pretty good. My top 3 moods are reflective, emotional, and dark. Don't know what's wrong with me. The pace I prefer is medium at 54%, followed by fast at 31% and slow at 15%. I prefer books under 300 pages. 59% of my reads were that length. 300 to 499 pages, 38% of my reads were that length, while only 3% of my reads were over 500 pages. For fiction to nonfiction ratio, I greatly prefer reading fiction. 85% of my books that I've read this year are fiction, but every now and then I'll be in a nonfiction phase. I feel like a lot of the times in the winter. For genres, I mostly read literary, contemporary, and LGBTQIA+. Solid. For format, have been venturing into audiobooks a lot this year, so 26% of my reads were on audio, while the other 74% were standard print format. I've also been thinking about getting an e-reader, like a Kobo. Easily give this to Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa. It's about a disabled woman living in Japan. She uses a wheelchair, electric wheelchair sometimes, and she's also on a ventilator. In addition to that, she lives at this assisted care facility that was left to her by her parents. And she's also a pretty prolific Twitter persona and erotic adult story writer. She wants to experience getting pregnant and getting an abortion. I feel like that premise is just so killer. Humor in this is so sharp. There's a lot of really interesting discussion about overlapping privileges and marginalizations. I wish that it was longer is my only gripe, but I mean still a 5-star for me and best of 2025. I don't usually read a lot of series, but I just so happened to finish a sequel that I loved this year called The Curse of the Blue Tattoo by L.A. Meyer. This is the second book in the Bloody Jack series, which is a series that I loved as a child and am now revisiting. I have discovered the audiobook versions of these books and I'm obsessed with them. It's so fun. The narrator does such a good job doing all the accents. One of them that I'm looking forward to, Hot Girls with Balls by Benedict Nguyen. It's about these 2 trans women who play professional volleyball in a men's league, and they're also dating each other and have a large social media following. They do a show together, and they're just a famous online lesbian couple. Another is Deviance by Santanu Bhattacharya. I don't really keep track of new releases, so if you have any anticipated releases for the rest of the year, let me know. I read this book called Salvage by Madeleine Roux, and it's an alien horror thriller book, and I was honestly kind of bored. It was more of a surprise because it covered topics that I didn't think that it would cover. This is Poets Square, a memoir in 30 Cats by Courtney Gustafson. She basically runs this TikTok account called Poets Square Cats. That's her taking care of these 30 feral cats that she kind of inherited when she moved into her current house. And I thought it was gonna be largely talking about that experience. Taking care of those 30 feral cats led her to get really involved with trap, neuter, and return work in her city. The thing that surprised me the most about this book is how much it is about the human experience and condition. She talks a lot about underprivileged areas in her city that she'll go into to take care of the cat problem, and how she ends up like making friends and connection. And she also talks a lot about just like the failures of systems that are meant to protect people, and yeah, how she's seeing those effects in her community. I'm gonna have to give it to Sao Ichikawa again, because yeah, after I read Hunchback, I was just like hungry for more of her writing, and I can't wait to see what she comes out with next. I didn't have one. I feel like I don't really read books where I would be like crushing on the characters. I have two that I really enjoyed. One of them was Gilda, who's the protagonist of the Gilda stories. I just really liked her like intentionality in the way that she lives her life, and is like making friends and building relationships, and also like the sense of adventure and curiosity in her spirit. And then my other favorite character is Jackie from the Bloody Jack series, because she's so fiery and like so funny. I love her voice in that series. I don't really cry at books, but I think the one that got me closest to crying was Blessings by Chukwuebuka Ibe. The moments where the mother and the main character were kind of like thinking internally about their love for each other and how they want the best for each other despite like how cruel this world can be, I think were like really touching. I don't really cry, but I'll like clutch my chest when I read something that like makes me feel really emotional. So I had a couple of those moments. I wrote down The Curse of the Blue Tattoo again because yeah, I just like fucking love listening to the audiobook for that. And also I remember like not liking this installment as much as a child, but I ended up like really loving it as an adult, so I was happy that that happened. I decided on Siblings by Bridget Ryman. I just think the cover is like really cool. I like the colors and like the abstract vibe. The first one is Love Me Tender by Constance de Bray, and then the second is Amma by Sarah De Silva. I've purchased both of these books too, so they're kind of just like staring at me. But yeah, I would love to read those soon. Favorite BookTube community members. I really enjoy watching this channel called Grandpa's Book Club. The creator's name is Charlee, and he lives in Australia, and his content's just like very calming. Kat from Lit with Kat. Kat lives in like the Boston, Cambridge, Somerville area. I see a lot of spots that I visit or spots that I want to visit because she shared them. We have a lot of similar books that we like to read, so I always like to see what she's reading or recommending. She also uses the library a lot. I automatically feel drawn to BookTube creators who showcase the library because I love the library. Kate Lee. Right now she's in a graduate program for translation in Korea. I just find it really interesting when she shares bits of like her professional and like educational pursuits with her translation work, because I just find that process intriguing. And she also has really good taste in books, and I really love how much she loves translated works and how much she recommends and like advocates for people to read them. So my friend Mary Kate, who is actually on Book Talk, I like genuinely trust all of her opinions and recommendations, and she's also just like one of the smartest people I know and has really interesting takes on like both literature and culture and everything in between. She is also herself a writer, so it's just really interesting to hear her perspectives. That was the mid-year freakout tag, although I'm not freaking out. I hope you're not freaking out, because reading is just for fun and we shouldn't be freaking out about it. Yeah, let me know how your reading is going so far this year, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.